All right, hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Chase. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Creative. You know about this show. This is the show where I sit down and I answer your questions on your journey of, becoming either a hobbyist, some sort of an amateur, or maybe even a professional creator. I've been doing this my whole life. I got a lot of answers to your questions, and I got my phone right here. If I need to call somebody, I got the internet at my fingertips. I'm here to answer your questions. We're doing a live call today, right? Is that right? Let's call. We're gonna call Ben. All right, Finn, call Ben. Posture.
Hello, this is Ben.
Ben, it's Chase. How are you?
Chase, oh my God, hi, I'm doing good.
Good to talk to you, man. I appreciate you calling into the show, and I know Finn talked to you, and you got a couple of questions. I think we got time for one today. I'm dying to hear your question, and obviously we're recording this, so don't say anything weird.
Yeah, so it's about kind of balancing my creative projects while I'm starting my new full-time job. When I was in college last semester, I had a ton of time to devote to my blog and the videos I make, and I really saw an increase in all the traffic, and I had so much time to devote to it. But now that I've started my job and I have a commute and then go to the gym, and I was kind of put the creative side projects on the back burner and haven't really seen any growth, actually more of a decline. So for any new hires or recent graduates, what kind of advice would you give us to really have time to do those creative projects outside of work?
Got it. So let me ask a couple things. First, what's your goal? So it sounds like you had a bunch of creative products and then you took a full-time job. So is your goal to have a full-time job that's not in the creative industry? I'm trying to, before I prescribe the solution, like what's your end goal? Do you want to have a full-time job, and is it a 9 to 5? Give me a little more context.
Yeah, so I guess my main goal is kind of build my brand through these creative projects. So my blog is kind of giving advice based on things that I go through. So if anybody else out there, is going through the job search or things like that, I can give them some advice. So I would love to have a full-time job, and then outside I'm sorry, it's like the feedback's pretty bad, so it's kind of hard to talk, but
do you have a full-time job?
I just kind of want to build my personal brand through these creative projects and kind of make a name for myself so I can give people advice. That's my main goal.
Okay. So what I want you to decide is that what you want to do for a living and a life? Do you want to have these two separate worlds? So I'm going to approach the question like, at some point, it would be great to ditch your job with the man. And what I think there's a lot of fear around your question, because you want to make sure that you can eat and make a living and a life, and yet a full-time job provides benefits and security and whatnot. So the number one most popular question that I get around this is, how do I transition? I think that's why I think this is a great question. I'm glad that you asked it, and I appreciate you being bold enough to ask it in front of thousands of people. So I think the secret is very simple. I prescribe that you work an outside job that's not like, you have a goal. This is what I want to do, and if I could snap my fingers tomorrow, this is what my day would look like, this would be my life, this is how I would be making money. So let's presume you want to be a full-time person who gives advice and helps people transition. Then you yourself need to follow this advice, which is, find out how much you need to make in order to survive. Add up your rent, add up your food, add up a little bit of expenses, so that you're not seeking a job that's going to pay you $100,000 a year and going to eat up all your time. You need to seek a job that maybe it's waiting tables or something that has flexibility. And if you only have, if your monthly expenses are say $3,200, then don't try and make $8,000 at your full-time job. Try and get a part-time job where you can make $3,500, have just a little bit left over in case something goes wrong, or to not have to live like a complete hermit. And then focus all of your time that is not spent fulfilling your financial obligations with your job. Spend all of the time focusing on living the dream life that you want to live. And it sounds like, continuing to build your audience and continuing to have a relationship with people that are like you. If you don't do that, you will perpetually be sucked into working more and more at the job, and the thing that you really care about, which I'm hearing you say you want to help others, if the thing you really care about is something you just continually package into a very small amount of your calendar, it's never going to add up to something. And you proved the point yourself. You said, as soon as you took your other job, what happened to the shit that you were experiencing before, the growth? It all stopped. So I don't know what your family obligations are. I don't know what your overhead is. And frankly, I don't care. You got to figure this out for yourself. But the particular thing that I want you to do is minimize your extra contribution to your bank account. Find out what's the minimum that you need to have to live a life that isn't just total poverty. But I think you should keep that really tight. Keep it small so that you can use all of your extra energy towards the thing that actually is going to matter to you. You do not have to eat a shit sandwich. You can actually dream, and you should, think about how can you put yourself today, day one, on the path to the thing that you want to be. Because every day that you're not doing that is a day of just burning. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? So you don't have to do it tomorrow. You don't have to do it the next day. But just know that when you put yourself on this path of the thing that you actually want, rather than simmering some shit on the side, that your whole life is going to accelerate. Your conversations get richer, how you spend your time, what you do instead of not doing. You're going to watch less TV because you're passionate about getting to the place where you want to be. To me, it's a total game changer. Instead of waking up and feeling like groggy and like, what am I doing? We all have tough days, but you're going to bounce out of bed because you're focused on the thing that's going to deliver the life that you want, and everything else then becomes a side project to your focus of dream rather than the focus of bills and other shit that you got to do. How's that sound?
Wow, that's amazing advice, because when I was looking for a job, one of the things I didn't take into consideration was how much time is it going to take away from my side project. So maybe putting that at the focal point job search, is a new way to look at it.
Flip the script, my man. Like, your job is your new side project, and the thing that you want to do is your number one focus. This is, we're filming this.
Thank you so much.
We're filming this, so if I'm talking to the camera right now, this is, I think, a very, very popular thing that I see crippling all creatives and anyone who wants to transition. I don't care if you're an accountant, you want to go become a surgeon. Like, what can you do in the thing that you have experience at? How can you do that on the side, weekends? Minimize your money-making thing. Package that in the smallest space that you can so that your time, your mind can all be focused on the thing that you want to be. If you could snap your fingers and be living a totally extraordinary life, what would that be? Ben, I really appreciate you hanging yourself out there.
That's amazing advice. Thank you.
Of course. I appreciate you hanging yourself out there in front of thousands of people. I know you got this. Is there anything else I can help you with before you go?
It was like you were speaking to my soul. That was perfect. It was just what I needed to hear. So I really appreciate you answering the question.
Of course. I'm going to look for you in my social feeds. And I want, when you make some changes, I want you to flip me a note, and then I'll respond. I'm obsessive about responding to anyone who writes to me socially, but I want to know that you're taking a step, that you minimized your full-time gig into a part-time, and just keep checking in with me on the regular, okay, man?
I'll definitely be in touch.
All right, Ben. Thanks a lot. Signing off. Are we going to do 2 questions in this? No, we're just going to do one. It's just one. All right. Thanks so much. If you want your question answered just like I answered Ben's, don't hesitate. Give me a call. I'll get a voicemail set up at 802-962-4357. And in the process, if you could be commenting, liking, sharing this stuff, to me, the act of sharing this thing not only sends a signal that you like the content that we're doing, but it's my hope that you look at yourself as someone who can help others. In the social sphere, that's the name of the game. How can you add value to the people who follow you and ask nothing in return? The simple act of forwarding content that you find valuable, if you got anything out of this, you share it with your folks, they're gonna give you like a gold star, and the next time you have something to say, they're gonna listen just a little bit more. So again, I'm Chase. If you have any questions about your journey on becoming a creator, just leave me a message. I'm here.